And yes, now finally we're going to do the journal entries to show how all of this happens. Journal entries are usually the most liked part of my whole system. But in real life, guys, in any good company, you'll never have to do a real journal entry. When you process paperwork to make things move, it will automatically happen behind the scenes. Okay. So, here's a journal entry when I purchase my direct materials. I always make them on account. Okay. The next journal entry here is when I requisition, when I pull the cream, the sugar, and the milk, when I send a purchase rec over, a requisition to pull it from direct materials, and I'm going to move it to work in process. However, the indirect materials are going to go into factory overhead. Direct materials go into the WIP account. The indirect materials go into factory overhead. And I credit the materials account. Okay, let's move on. Now I'm bringing in, in these departments, I'm bringing in my cost for the mixing, my indirect labor. This is my indirect labor. My direct labor. Made a mistake. This is my direct labor that I incurred, and it always credits to wages payable. Now I'm going to look at the depreciation for the equipment that I'm using. It's going to go into factory overhead. Notice it credits accumulated depreciation. The next journal entry is going to be applying factory overhead to my different departments. So I'm actually taking it out of factory overhead, putting it into the actual WIP account. So this one is when I finish one department and the cost as they move into the packaging department. So again, I credit out of mixing for WIP and move it into WIP for packaging. And my next two journal entries, when I'm done in WIP, I take it out of WIP packaging and it goes to finished goods. And then when I actually sell it, I relieve my finished goods account. So this is kind of a flow statement for how things happen here. Okay, I know it's an eye chart. These are all T accounts. I love T accounts because they're very distinct. I can always keep track of what's going on with them. Okay, this is my materials, my WIP. I have one for each department, and my finished goods. These are all inventory accounts right here. Comes in as a debit, it leaves as a credit. Comes in as a debit, leaves as a credit. In as a debit, leaves as a credit. In as a debit, leaves as a credit. And then my last slide looks like this. Oh, actually, it's not my last slide. I have one more after this. So this is my ending inventories at the end of July for my different accounts. Okay. And so, so this is actually my last slide. There are some more slides, but I'm not going to go over them because I covered the most important ones, especially the step 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4. But this concludes the journal entries for process costing system for chapter 3 or 17, depending on which version you have.